Alright, let's get started. So let's do show user. I'm a user called Scott. Scott has a table called EMP for employees, EMP. So let's describe that table. The syntax to describe a table is DESC-EMP. Describe table. The purpose of describing a table is to show the structure of the table. It shows you the names of the columns in the table, and it shows you how many columns you have. It shows you the data types as well. We'll go over data types at a later date. But for right now, describing a table, the syntax to describe a table is DESC-EMP, semicolon. Now you can also put the word describe, DESCRIBE-EMP, or you can just do DESC-EMP. Now the semicolon, some syntaxes in SQL use a semicolon and some don't. I just get into the habit of using the semicolon all the time. So if you do DESC-EMP, you describe the table without the semicolon, or you can do with the semicolon. It's a good habit just to get used to typing a semicolon. So again, to look at a table structure, you describe the table. To see the names of the columns, you describe the table. To see how many columns you have in that table, you describe the table. So let's clear screen. So let's describe EMP. That's the table we're working on. Describe table name. Describe table name. In this case, the table name is EMP. Now let's do select statements. Let's select everything in this table. So that syntax is select star from EMP. So select star. Star means select all the columns. Anytime you see star, it's all columns. As you can see, this table is a 14-row table. It has employee number, employee name, job, and it's the same as when you describe the table. First you describe a table, and it tells you the structure of the table. It tells you what columns are in the table. And then when you do select star from that same table name, it shows you the entire table. Select star from EMP. Now this is a very small table, but imagine working at a company that has a table with 1,000,000 rows. This is just a test database with a test table. It's only 14 rows. So let's do that again. Let's clear the screen. You could just hit the up arrow on the keyboard to see your most recent commands. Select star from EMP. It tells you everything in the table. E-name, Smith, Allen, jobs. We have salesmen, managers. Select star from EMP. Now let's say you don't want to select the entire table. So let's describe EMP. Let's say you just want to select the names in the table. The syntax for that is select e-name from EMP. Enter. As you can see, only the e-name shows up with the 14 rows. Now, as you can see here, the syntax to select something is select column name from table name. Select column name from table name. So let's clear the screen. Describe EMP. Let's say you want to select everybody's salary. That's going to be select sal from EMP. Again, select column name from table name. Sal. Okay? Now this table doesn't really make any sense because there's no names associated with it, but this is just for testing purposes. Let's say we want to see everybody's hire date. Select hire date from EMP. There it is. Hire date. How come we only have one column at the top of the display of our output? Is because we only specified one column. Again, 14 rows selected. Alright, so let's clear the screen. Describe EMP. Let's say we want to select everyone's department number. So we'll do select DEPTNO from EMP. These are the department numbers. Again, 14 rows selected. These are the department numbers. Select column name from table name. In this case, we're selecting from the EMP table. All right, let's clear the screen. Describe EMP. Now, let's say you want to select two columns. Give me everybody's name and salary. So that's select e-name, comma, sal from EMP. Now, let's look at a couple of things here. Number one, we get 14 rows again. Also, look at the syntax. Anytime you have two columns in a select statement, you have to separate those columns with a comma. Select column name, comma, column name from EMP. And how come we only see e-name and salary in the output? It's because those are the only two columns that we selected in the syntax of the select statement. Alright, so let's clear the screen. Describe EMP. Alright, now instead of giving me everybody's name and salary, let's give me everybody's name and job title. So that's going to be select e-name, comma, job from EMP. Very simple. E-name, job. Smith is a clerk. Miller is a clerk. James is a clerk. Ford is an analyst. Again, 14 rows selected. Now remember, we did select star earlier from EMP. The star means I don't feel like typing all of these columns, so I'm just going to do select star, meaning I'm going to get all the columns, and you're going to get 14 rows. Okay? So let's clear the screen and let's continue doing some more select statements. Let's describe EMP. Now, before we continue, let's see if select statements are case sensitive. Select ename from EMP. Now select ename from EMP. As you can see, ename right here. It gives us all the output of all the names. Now what if I make that all capital? Select ename from EMP. Same exact output. So select statements, the syntax is not case sensitive. And we could take it even a step further. Let's do select and let's make ename all capital from and then the table name lowercase. Enter. No difference. You get 14 rows, you get ename at the top, again because we selected ename. Alright, so let's clear the screen. Describe EMP. Let's describe our table. So again, let's continue with the select statements. I want you to give me everybody's name, job, and salary. So now we're going to select 3 columns. The syntax remains the same. It's select column 1, comma, column 2, comma, column 3 from table name. So that's going to be select ename, comma, job, comma, sal from EMP. Now we have 3 columns. And how come we only have ename, job, and salary in the output? Because ename, job, and salary are the only columns that we specified in the select statement. So remember, select column, column, column from table. In this case, ename, job, and salary. Alright, so let's describe EMP. So now let's do, give me everybody's name and hire date. It's very simple. Select ename, comma, hire date from EMP. Enter. Ename, hire date. December of 80, May of 87, Adams, 14 rows selected. Alright, let's clear the screen. Describe EMP. I always get into the habit of describing the table so you see exactly the name of the columns. Now let's make an intentional error here. So let's say, even though this says sal and it means salary, let's say I actually spell out the word salary. So select salary from EMP. Enter. As you can see here, there was an error message. And by the way, you can Google any error message you see, the codes here. Salary invalid identifier. What this means is, see, SQL is smart. SQL knows when you select something, you're selecting from an EMP table. And if you scroll up, this is the structure of the EMP table. So SQL is saying, okay, select, okay, we're going to look for a column called salary because the user is looking for a column called salary. Well, guess what? We don't have a column called salary. Error. Alright, that's an error. So let's clear the screen. So describe EMP. So let's say instead of ename, which means employee name, we did name. So select name from EMP. Same error message. Same type of error message. Error at line 1, and here's the error code. You are asking SQL to look for a column called name in a table called EMP, but the word name does not exist. It's called ename. You have to be exact with it. Alright, so let's clear the screen. Describe EMP. Let's continue. Let's select 4 columns this time. Give me everybody's employee number, name, job, and salary. So it's employee number, EMPNO, name, ename, comma, job, comma, and sal from EMP, semicolon, enter. 4 column headings, number, name, job, salary. 14 rows selected. And once again, look at the syntax. The columns are separated by commas. If you have 4 columns, that means you need 3 commas. Alright, so let's clear the screen. Describe EMP. Let's do 4 again, but this time give me the name, the job, the hire date, and salary. So let's select ename, job, comma, hire date, comma, and salary from EMP. Name, job, hire date, salary. Again, 4 columns were selected, so we need 3 commas. Column 1, comma, column 2, comma, column 3, comma, column 4, no comma, from. Now, what if you put a comma after the last column, meaning right before the from clause? Well, let's do an intentional error here. Let's describe EMP. Let's say I want everybody's name and salary. So that's select ename, comma, sal from EMP. So we get everybody's name and salary. Let's say if I hit the up arrow on the keyboard to see my most recent statements, let's put a comma after salary and put space, enter. You're going to get an error message that you can see right here. And here's the error code. Missing expression. What this basically means is, once again, SQL knows what to do if you tell it what to do properly. Select ename. Okay, recognize that ename exists in a table called EMP. Salary. Okay, once again, it recognizes that there's a table, a column called salary in a table EMP. Comma. When you put a comma here, it's anticipating another column name, but instead it sees the word from. Now, from cannot be a column name because certain words are reserved. You can't use from. From is used as a clause. So when it sees comma and the word from, it says, wait a minute. Not only do I not see the word from in the table description, we can't even use from as a table name. So error, missing expression. It's pretty much saying something is missing with your syntax, so we're not going to give you any output. All right, so let's clear screen. Describe EMP. So let's select 5 columns. Let's select employee number, name, job, hire date, salary. So I'd select EMP&O, comma, ename, comma, job, comma, hire date, comma, salary from EMP. So 14 rows selected. Number, employee name, job, hire date, salary. How come we have 5 columns? Very simple, because we specified 5 columns in the syntax, and we have 4 commas separating the 5 columns. All right. Now, if we describe EMP and we see we have 8 columns, if we want to see all 8, we're not going to, well, the long way is to type each of these column names in one syntax, but that's why I showed you select star at the beginning. Select star from EMP. Let me clear the screen. Select star from EMP. All 8 columns will be displayed. All right, so that's select star. That's select star. So describe EMP. Give me everybody's name and hire date. So that's ename, hire date. Select ename, comma, hire date from EMP. Self-explanatory. 2 column headings because only 2 columns were selected in the EMP table. So always get in the habit of describing a table. We'll get to how we even know a user named Scott has an EMP table. That's later on in the course. But show user, it's Scott, and he has a table called EMP. Describe EMP. That's the syntax to describe a table. DESC EMP, or you can do describe EMT, the full word, EMP. So if you want to select specific columns, just put those column names in the syntax of the select statement. If you want the entire table with all the columns, select star from EMP. Now let's say you put too many spaces in the syntax. So let's say you do select ename space, 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 comma, space, and sal from EMP, semicolon, enter. Notice it still works. Ename, salary. SQL doesn't care how many spaces you have. SQL is saying, okay, select column name, so the next thing I should see is a comma. Doesn't matter how many spaces you have. Okay, comma. And then after the comma, I should see another column heading. Not the from clause, but the column heading. So as you keep moving down a SQL statement, the very next thing it sees is sal. So as you can see, it doesn't matter how many spaces you have. SQL reads this the same as it reads this. Same exact result. Select ename sal from EMP. So let's clear the screen. describe EMP. So once again, one more example. Give me everybody's employee number and hire date. Select EMPNO, hire date from EMP. There you have it. Employee number, hire date. So remember, the syntax to select anything from a table is select column name from table name. If you want 2 columns, it's going to be select column 1, comma, column 2 from table name. If you want to do 3 columns in your select statement, it's select column 1, comma, column 2, comma, column 3, and then from table name. And once again, if you want to see everything, meaning all the columns in the table being displayed in the output, select star from EMP.